Today we're at the Grey Mare and her Colts, a wonderful 5,000-year-old long barrow. Not far outside of Abbotsbury. If you saw our video of Abbotsbury Hill Fort or of St Catherine's Chapel and Abbotsbury Abbey, they're both within a couple of miles of here. From the centre of Abbotsbury heading towards Weymouth, you hang a left up Bishop's Road, follow the road up as it winds uphill past Bishop's Lime Kiln, and then there's a very sharp right bend. When you pass that, take the first left and you park up just after the cow grid on the verge of grass at the side, and there's a small sign pointing towards the Mare and her Colts and Kingston Russell Stone Circle. And throughout you're in this Iron Age landscape with tractor tyre marks. At the beginning there's the cow gate. It's at Gormwell Farm, and apparently the parking is that place on the left. Now this is an interesting stone. It's like a lumpy pudding stone. Looks a little out of place, a little remarkable, but not very. But the moot stone is actually a meeting stone. It's reputed to be an Anglo-Saxon stone. You sometimes come across stones where tribal leaders would sit and pass judgment, a mark in the landscape where people would gather for justice. And a moot stone is one of these. If you're in London, you don't want to go that far, and you're at the end of a line of the Bakerloo in Wealdstone, take any of the buses towards Watford, and when you reach the Waitrose, just before that there's a stone built into a fence by a pub. Well, it used to be called the Wealdstone. It's now called Mumbai Junction, I believe. And that is another one of these stones, these tribal stones that Saxons sat on to pass judgment, like a crown court of their day. And that's all that's really known of the moot stone. But we're going a lot further back in history today. We're going back to the Stone Age, to a wonderful long barrow. If you saw our video of Coldham Long Barrow or West Kennet Long Barrow, Ely Long Barrow, then you've got an idea of what a long barrow's like. You have a long barrow mound with chambers inside. Normally there's a trim of stone around the base of that mound. And at the front are some stones. There's a capstone. Underneath it are two sort of doorway stones, and generally a stone in the middle that they could enter, because these weren't one-off burials of kings. These were familial burials where people would come for generations to visit their ancestors. And they're often in the most beautiful of places like this. Now, possibly that's because these fairly untouched places are the only place that such a burial would remain for 5,000 years. But I like to take a more romantic view, that the place was chosen the same way as a village churchyard on the edge of a hill offers a view to people when they visit the stones, to see a beautiful landscape in front of them. And I think it's probably a mix of the two. Now you follow that path down for about a mile and watch out for that small sign that says turn left to the Mare and her Colts, because it's the only sign that you're approaching it. You go through the fence, cross the edge of this small field and through this gate, and then you're right upon the burial. It's standing in front of you. It It's a striking burial. I quite liked it. It's a very pleasant walk as well. If you've got an opportunity to spend some time walking in Dorset and you're in Weymouth or Charmouth, Lyme Regis, on that stretch of coast, Abbotsbury's well worth visiting. As I mentioned, we've done videos on the Abbey and the Chapel, on the Hill Fort, but there's also a line of Stone Age sites about half a mile inland from that, with stone circles, burials, dolmens. And today we're looking at the Mare and her Colts. And this is it. In the windswept slope, you can see these stones emerging and a bit of a bump behind them. And this is it. Generations of a family took time, lovingly built and constructed this. And it's collapsed, it's slumped, it's eroded. It's a shadow of its former self. But it gives you a feeling for a very interesting structure which would have sat in a landscape much like this, but without the hedgerows. And it's a little bit overgrown. I did read in some of my research that it's worth going in the spring before the grass grows, and that's probably true. But when I was here, the grass was well and truly growing, and you can still clearly see it. The stones are a little shattered, they've fallen over. It hasn't undergone one of those can be questionable reconstructions. It's sort of left in situ. The overall shape is there, the outline is in place. You can make out the overall structure and have a feel for what it would have looked like. You can't see the side chambers. There aren't curbstones around it, although there are a few stones that possibly were the curbstones. This early to middle Neolithic site was excavated in the early 19th century, and they found human bones and pottery fragments, probably from feasts and visiting. It's nearly rectangular, it's 24 metres long, stands at the moment about a metre wide, although I feel like the mound would have been as high as the stone, so probably twice as high as that. And there is a remnant of the burial chamber over there. You can see a kind of dip, but it's really hard to see. At the front you can still see the 4 sarsen stones, 3 are standing, 1's laying flat, and there's the horizontal slab behind it. That's almost certainly the capstone of the burial chamber, which is kind of collapsed in on the burial itself. It's an attractive little burial and well worth a visit. I think everyone should go to a Long Barrow burial at some point. My favourite is probably Coldram Long Barrow. I do like the Devil's Den, where only the dolmen at the front is in place. But I think it's well worth a visit, and I think it's a beautiful example sitting quietly where it's left quite untroubled. If you enjoy Neolithic and you're interested in burials, then certainly check out our Stone Age playlist. I'll put a link at the end. We visited probably a dozen of these burials, and they're all very similar but very different in design, and you get a feeling for how they were built with regional inspiration. They're not to a single plan from a catalogue. They're a construction project by a community, and they've suffered different amounts of damage. You can see how this is by no means the largest capstone I've seen, but it's quite badly damaged. It's split asunder and probably 2 or 3 pieces. But it still gives you a really good idea of what a long Barrow burial would have looked like. And there's something special about visiting and enjoying these, especially the ones that aren't inundated with tourists. And we're going to be visiting a few of these in the coming months, and also the stone circle just down a hill from here. There's clearly signs of an active Neolithic community here, with along this one path within about 7 miles a string of 4 or 5 sites, all of which the people who lived there, the people who made them, the people who were buried in them, it's all kind of lost to time exactly what their lives were like, their purpose was like, their religious practices. But you gain a glimpse, a hint by visiting. And from above you can tell how mild the bump is. Normally with a long barrow, where the burial mound is still in place, it actually looks much more striking from above, more clearly defined in a way that standing on the ground it's not so obvious. But here actually the best view is from the ground. And behind you see those hills rolling off into the distance. We're going to be back next week for a stone circle just 1 more mile down the slope there. And what wonderful weather, what a beautiful view. Really a striking little sight. And it's ideal for our Thursday videos because it's not famous, it's not renowned, people don't travel hundreds of miles to see this. But it is a striking and significant and interesting burial which gives a hint of our ancestors' lives and thoughts and practices. What it did miss was there's normally a sign of druidic worship and offering, a remembrance of the people who lived here. But this is a really quiet burial, so that wasn't there. Just the sound of the wind swishing in the grass as it flips backwards and forwards in the wind, and the stones stand against time. If you enjoyed our visit to the grey mare and her colts, then you should definitely subscribe, because this is the sort of content we love to show. And we'll be back on Saturday at a castle from a much later age in one of my favourite places in Dorset. So click that subscribe, doesn't cost you anything, helps us a lot and helps us bring you more content from more often overlooked historic sites.